Hey friends, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie if you're new here, and today we're going to be doing a swatch and review of the new Mooncat Kaleidoscope Haze collection. I am super excited about this collection, so let's just get into it. So I want to start by saying all of these polishes feature different colored multi-chrome flakies where you primarily see one or two colors, but they change depending on the angle of the light. Flakies like this definitely pop in indirect or low lighting, but some just tend to pop a little bit more due to the contrast of the base. A great example is this first polish called Strangeberry, which is a hot pink jelly with mainly gold flakies that flash to this gorgeous aqua color that, again, isn't really going to show up in my more direct lighting setup, but I'm sure there will be some clips on Mooncat's website to show it off, so make sure you check that out. But anyway, this one had a really great, smooth formula with pretty even coverage on the first coat, and I didn't need to dip back into the bottle for the flakies. This one was obviously the first one I put on, and I'm still wearing it on my other hand there. But yeah, I was just really impressed with how visible the flakies were. Like, it almost looks like I layered the flakies on top of a jelly, if that makes sense. So anyway, I just did 2 coats for this one. You probably would need a third to make it a little bit more opaque, but again, these are jellies. They're meant to be a little squishy looking. Next up is Magic Mushroom, which is a juicy tangerine orange jelly that's packed with pink and purple flakies that flash to gold and green. Well, hopefully you can see them flash in between the glares of my ring light. But I don't think I mentioned it, but the swatch application part of the video is more color accurate than the bottle shots. I think the bottle shots are a little bit darker to try and show off the flakies more, so just an FYI. But anyway, this one was definitely a lot more sheer than the first polish, where you saw pretty visible nail line even after 2 coats. And so I did do a third one for this, but it still didn't give me 100% opacity. Not that I was expecting it, but I just kind of wanted to see, how opaque these can get with 3 coats. So yeah, these are definitely very, very much on the translucent jelly side, not the crelly jelly side of things, but this is still such a gorgeous, gorgeous shade. The next polish is Flying Submarine, which is a super bright primary yellow jelly that has pink and orange flakies that shift to gold and green. So this one had a pretty similar formula to the last shade, where it was definitely really sheer on the first coat, which I don't think is surprising considering it's a yellow jelly, but you still get really great and even coverage. It's just not the cutest on one coat, at least for me. I'm not a fan of yellow jellies personally, but this one definitely looks better on a second coat because it just builds up the color a little bit more. It layers more of those flakies, which I know is really hard to see here. It looks like they're not even in there, but trust me, they're in there. So I did a third coat for this one just to show you, because it's not, again, fully opaque, but the flakies I find are distracting enough where you don't really need to worry about your visible nail line, but I can understand how in some lightings like here, that just, might be too distracting for you. Next up is Best Bud, which is a vibrant lime green shade with flakies that primarily flash between gold and a medium green, but then flash to a blue and purple in indirect light. So I found the formula on this one to be similar to the last 2 polishes, where it was definitely very, very sheer on the first coat, but it still provided really even coverage where it's not really streaky or anything, except I did get a stubborn bald spot right near the corner there, but I do go over it at the end. So yeah, unfortunately, if you are just not a fan of visible nail line, then I don't think these 3 shades are going to be for you, because I definitely still saw pretty clear visible nail line after 3 coats. I'm not sure if they would be fully gone with a 4th coat. I just tend to cap out at 3, so you'll have to let me know if you would end up doing 4 coats just to cover everything up. or if you'd be okay wearing these on 3, because I don't think they look that bad. Next we have Lava Lamp, which is this gorgeous medium, almost seafoam jade green. I'm really struggling nailing the color description on this one, but it has gold and purple flakies that flash to green and pink. So I was kind of really surprised with this one and how sheer it was. I think I was just expecting it to be a little bit more opaque, similar to Strangeberry from the beginning, but again, this had really even coverage, and I actually liked the color on this one coat. It kind of just reminded me of sea glass. But anyway, here's a second coat where obviously the color is built up a lot better, and you see more of those flakies popping through, and they just look so pretty. Just such a perfect summer shade, but there definitely is still some visible nail line, so I did do a third coat just to cover that up a little bit more. Again, not 100% opaque, but I would say this is more similar in terms of coverage to Strangeberry, where it looks maybe more like a crelly as opposed to a jelly, if that makes sense. Up next we have Acid Washed, which is a bright sky blue jelly that I think has the same gold and purple flakes as the last shade, and they flash to green and pink as well. So as you probably expected, this one is definitely on the sheerer side, but I did also mess up by just not grabbing enough polish on the brush or wiping too much of it off. So I did have to dip back into the bottle a couple times. I don't think it really has to do with the formula on this one specifically. I think this was just like a user error on my part. So weirdly enough, this one built up really nicely on the second coat, where it wasn't nearly as sheer as the other lighter shades. So I still did end up doing a third coat eventually, just to kind of fix any bald spots from my first coat. But yeah, this one had really great coverage considering it's one of the lightest shades in the collection. So what I was saying with the last polish about it looking a little bit more like a crelly applies to this one as well. Not that it covers up the flakies or anything like that, but it just doesn't lean as much of a translucent jelly, despite how sheer it looked on the first coat. Hopefully that makes sense. It's gorgeous either way. Next up is Cosmic Cowboy, which is a rich cobalt blue with vibrant pink and purple flakes that flash to gold and aqua, which I think you could see for a moment there in the corners of the bottle. This one is just absolutely stunning. I just really love the contrast of the flakes and the base color. This one has a great formula, smooth like the others, and even though you can see some bald spots on the first coat, the second coat basically covers them right up, which I pretty much expected considering how dark this base color is. And I didn't end up doing a third coat for it, but I'm pretty sure you could probably get full opacity with a third coat of this polish, especially if your nails are short. But anyway, this one again is just so stunning. I love how the flakies glow. At first, I didn't like this shade because I thought it was too dark for the collection, but now that I've put it on, I'm like, what was I thinking? This is so stunning. And lastly, we have Mood Ring, which is a super juicy red-toned purple jelly that's packed with aqua and pink flakies that flash to purple and I think orange. It was kind of hard to tell, but I'm glad that the aqua flakies are the prominent ones because wow, these are just so stunning. And the base color, you know that I'm not really the biggest fan of red tone purples, but I just really love this one. So anyway, my preferences aside, this one had another great formula, really even coverage on the first coat, and since this was another of the darker shades from the collection, I found it gave pretty like nearly opaque coverage on the second coat as well. So I skipped out on doing a third coat just because I didn't think it was necessary. And yeah, the flakies in this one just are so beautiful. It reminds me of Strangeberry, where it almost looks like they're layered on top. I just love them. And that concludes my swatch and review for the Mooncat Kaleidoscope Haze collection. So as always, I would love to know what your thoughts are on this collection, if you're loving it as much as I am, because I am obsessed with it. My only complaint, I guess if we can call it that, is that I just really wish it was released earlier in the season. I know that Mooncat doesn't do like, oh, here's our summer collection and here's our fall. Like, they don't do that. But with this lineup, I feel like it would have been so perfect if it came out in like May or June, even July. I just feel like as a seasonal wearer, I just don't have that much time to enjoy these beautiful colors before everyone starts moving on to fall shades. Like, I feel like I'm already late not showing fall collections, you know? So you'll have to let me know where you stand on that, if you're a seasonal wearer or not, and if you'll be grabbing this or not. Let me know any and all thoughts down below in the comments so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.